Greetings, family, greetings. Greetings, family, greetings, greetings. It's important that we understand that we're not just here for fun. In fact, we're not really here for fun, we're here to speak the truth. And so when we start with drumming, when we start with libations, it's because we're addressing the ancestral spirits that have brought us here today. That are the reasons why we're living and breathing. That are the reasons why we're fighting and we're resisting. But not just resisting and planning to win. At some point, planning to win. And so for those of you here, my name is Kobina, this is my sister Adieyiesafo. There are many other people that will be joining us. They'll be calling in internationally from our global communities of resistance on the front line, fighting against the imperialism funded and controlled from the West by the City of London, by institutions here that have colonized our peoples, given us hell for 500 years. 500 years that we've been resisting, and we continue to advance that struggle. And so you're here in Brixton, the heart of one of our communities of resistance, here, underfunded, undersupported by institutions which are racist and marginalize our communities. And so that is not just happening here, but that is the violence that is extended right across the world through exploitation of colonial borders right through our motherland and our continent. And so I'm standing here today, my name is Kobina from Fanti, and I want to address that because drumming is not just an expression of just how we enjoy ourselves and be together, but it's the heart of community, and that's where community gets its power of resistance from. Without that, there is nothing. We can be out on the streets protesting, talking about Extinction Rebellion, but what does that actually mean? Whose extinction when it is our communities here that need to organize now today if we hope to win and survive against what we're up against? And so I want to draw us attention firstly to our global communities that are supporting us, to the Homo War Festival in Accra, who should be watching live, and I greet you, my siblings and my family, who right now have launched their Global Citizens Assembly. Why? Because they are organized. Because they are getting ready, and they've been getting ready because they're out here resisting the front line of violence that is funded here. And we are deeply, deeply complicit if we don't stand up and do something now, my brothers and sisters. And so that's what today should represent. The start of going a lot further than just standing, clapping, talking about what resistance needs to be, but talking about how we actually fight and claim back power now, today. So I greet my brothers and sisters in Homo War in Accra, who are using that time to launch their own Global Citizens Assembly, taking back power, and it's resourcing that connects us to the reality that's here. And I'll tell you what that means for us here.
Just let the people enjoy themselves.
It's a bit more than that. And it has to be a bit more than that. This is why. By 2030, Lewisham, Peckham, other places are going to be underwater. So what does that mean for our communities? We're out here warring each other when we're being warred against on the deepest level. And that is a system and policy of genocide. We went and take what young peoples from around the world taking the UK government, your government, to court. Because it's been violating your human rights and the rights of peoples all around the world for far too long. And it's been about time. And our communities here been knowing that truth. And what we need to step up against is realize that they're out here and they aren't here coming for you. They're not coming here to protect us. So what we have to do is organize now, because we went and told them that, listen, this is quite clear. You're in violation of all of our rights to life, our rights to family life, our rights to an international community, our rights to be self-determining peoples. A right that's been violated and denied African peoples for far too long. And so we're out here talking about crumbs. When $1 trillion is controlled by 100 companies traded on the London Stock Exchange. $1 trillion of our resources is managed here. The point I'm making is that that's ours to get back, my sister and my auntie. And we get that back by talking about how we do that right now today, because we are on the front line. So listen, that's what we're here to talk about. The level of violence that we're up against and what we have to do to challenge that and raise our consciousness as peoples, to come together as a community and talk about what we're doing. And we'll talk about that because that's what we're doing right now. Our international community is waiting on you to wake up and stand up and resist. Because without that, we're talking about the total genocide of our peoples, billions of people displaced by the middle of this century. If that doesn't mean anything, fine, but that's what the concern of my generation is. Because we're out here not just to resist, we're out here to win and win emancipation for all peoples. And that's happening right around the world. So this isn't just going to be about clapping, it's going to be talking about what it means for these communities here. Precisely. So what does that, thank you, Auntie, you're right, and I address you properly. What does that mean for us here? Because you've come down into Brixton, into the heart of our communities, which need resourcing, which are marginalised by a government that you fail to address and realise that you're complicit in that if you don't talk about it. We're passing bills after bills after bills, putting our people in prisons, kicking our people out of schools. And that same violence cannot continue any fucking longer. So that's what we're here to talk about, and that has to be the mission statement of what reparations is, because we don't demand reparations. We don't go out on the streets and tell you that Black Lives Matter. We know our lives matter, and we've been fighting for that, and we've been living that truth the whole time. And the point of that means that when we step up and do this together, and you understand where the power to change the world actually is, the people who control the resources and are fighting for their resources and who are being ignored by what XR is doing maybe a lot of the time, who don't get the space to stand up and to see that this is where community is.
No, but I don't see it as they ignoring it. I just see it, our face is two different colours. And although
Right, and I agree, we're allowed to be different peoples. And that's very important that we address ourselves as different peoples, because we have different truths, with different histories. With different histories, and that brings us to different places. So when we articulate our truth about imperialism and 500 years of African Holocaust, what we call the Maangamizi, we're talking about a truth that you also are going to have to wake up to and address if you care to liberate the futures of your children. But we're not just talking about our children and our futures, we're talking about right now. The UK government replied and said that mass genocide, displacement of our peoples, the continued policing powers of everyone here so that we can't stand up and speak the truth. The same things that are happening to our freedom fighters in Ghana right now today. Free Kaka Mohammed, who was murdered brutally on the streets just for speaking up. Gunned down on the streets. And guess what? Priti Patel was in Ghana last month providing the same sort of security protocol to kill all of those people who are standing up trying to fight right now. That's what you have to address. That's what power looks like, and we have to take back power and contest it. You can't demand of people what they have denied you for so long. You must do for self what others have proven themselves incapable of doing for you. And that's where it has to start, and that's what we're going to do today. So